We just need to see sort of government policy go towards that way and facilitate those opportunities, right? And I think there's a lot that the government can do to support. Hello, hello, and welcome to our new episode of Pioneers Pathway Podcast. My name's Liam Villani, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend Sharia Gakul. How are you doing, Sharia?
Oh, good, Liam. Oh, good. I see you've now, take on the role of, leading the
Yeah,
podcast.
I've done it a couple of times recently, haven't I? It's always good to be able to sort of shift around. Yeah, sometimes you're leading, sometimes I'm leading, but we're always both here, right? And we're always both as engaged as ever.
Absolutely. It's important to be
Yeah,
versatile. And I think that leads
yeah.
quite well onto today's topic, isn't it?
Yeah, so today's topic, we've done quite a few of these sort of short episodes recently, which has been really good because sometimes we have guests on, sometimes we have sometimes we just have a little chat ourselves. But today, yeah, our little chat on 5 minutes. Maybe I'm sure you know a bit about it, but just to get our listeners up to speed on it, 5 minute cities are sort of the concept that around where you live you have all the amenities. So you can walk within a radius of 5 minutes from your house, and you have everything, whether that's schooling, medical centers, sports centers, shops, transport hub, things like that. Everything is around you, so you don't have to travel as far out, right? And it's sort of a growing concept, isn't it? You've heard much about it?
I haven't heard much about it. Obviously, you did send me that article, which was quite interesting. But I have heard similar, things going on in Bangalore in India. So basically, Bangalore has sort of become a startup hub, right, in India. So
Yeah.
I've heard stories where people go into a coffee shop and they'll come across at least 10, 15 guys who are building their own sort of startup. So it's become a
Yeah.
great sort of place to network, hasn't it?
Because the sort of concept of going to an office for a startup, for even for bigger businesses, right, has sort of gone out the window because it's now sort of become the point that you work wherever you want to work, and because of all this remote stuff, all the remote working, virtual working, you can, and that's the good flexibility, right? Because we've seen sort of a gradual trend where people were moving into the city where they found that's where the work is and things like that, and sort of the local economy got decimated, and people were deserting so sort of those peripheral places. What do you think? Do you think it's virtual working, remote working is a good thing, not just in your house, but sort of going out to a coffee shop or going out to a local shared working space?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a traditionalist, right? I prefer,
Okay.
5 days in the office. But I do appreciate that, some people like this sort of hybrid model, working wherever you want. I mean, personally, back in my uni days, I have, studied in a coffee shop, and it was great. It's a great experience. Sometimes if you're just sitting, behind a laptop, it can get a bit boring. You need to have a change of environment. And, working at a coffee shop, for example, that's a great place to do it. I mean, recently we had a guest on, and he was mentioning how, one of his colleagues sometimes works from the beach. And what he
Yeah.
found is her work sometimes was, 10 times better when she worked from the beach, because it's that sort of mental thing that when you're in a new environment, you tend to, be a bit more refreshed, be a bit more relaxed. So that way you're able to get, the best out of yourself. So
Uh,
you do have, the traditional approach, which obviously I'm more used to because I prefer that sort of old school thing. But I do appreciate that, there's another side to the argument, and which, sometimes is better for some people. There's no one
and
size
then
fits all.
there's plenty of examples of really successful startups who have never even met each other, right? Because they don't even work in the same places. We've had a couple. I think Martin came on and he talked to
Absolutely.
us about how they're all virtual. Even with the VR companies that we've spoken to, most of that's done online remote work. So it's really a catching on sort of concept, and there's a big market for remote work. There's a big market for those shared working.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for technology, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
out here recording on Zoom. And obviously, it wouldn't, given our geographical locations, it wouldn't be possible for both of us to be in
Yeah.
person. So I think,
So,
having,
yeah.
yeah, go for it.
No, go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, what do you think? Okay, so we've spoken about startups, we've spoken about doing business online. What do you think about this sort of 5 minute city concept as an ordinary individual, not engaging in business, but sort of is there a market for the local economy? Do you think that we are going to turn to the fact that people don't want to be traveling far to get all of the amenities and services they want? And do you think that sort of there's an opportunity there, right? Because you're getting these communities which are springing up all over the world, right? Where people want to live amongst those services. I remember reading about sort of a community. I think it's in Costa Rica where it's sort of everything is there. So people don't need to even leave the place because they've got education, healthcare, all the amenities and services they want. Do you think that's something people are really looking for in this day and age?
Well, look, I'll be honest, I don't think so, right? I think back in the days, maybe like 20, 30 years or even before that, absolutely, it's a great idea, right? But these days, where you could get absolutely everything delivered to your house, is there really a need for it? Does it really hold the same value? Like, for example, in UK, you have, is it Get It? Right? You can get all your groceries delivered to your house.
Yeah.
And anyway, all the big supermarkets do that anyway. And in
Yeah.
India, you have a service called Blinkit, which is basically they deliver absolutely anything. They even, if you want to buy an iPhone, that you can even get that delivered to your house. You don't even have to leave your house, and you'll get an iPhone at your doorstep. You can get a PS5. You can get absolutely anything. That's why I think, in this day and age, the whole thing of getting your, everything you need like within 5 minutes of where you live might not be as useful, but I guess, when the whole architectural design was thought out of it, many years before, then it would have been an absolutely great concept. And another thing I think that is a problem with that is that tourism, right? If you can get absolutely everything in, within 5 minutes, you're less likely to go outside and, explore your own country, your own locality. I mean, there's so many great places in your own country which you might not explore because, look, everything is so close to you. What's the need?
Yeah, exactly, exactly, and it's sort of there's a uh, you're there's no incentive to go out. There's no incentive, and people are losing out on the wealth of opportunities, right?
Absolutely. You
Um,
tend to become a
in
bit of an enclosed community, isn't it?
in that sense, yeah. But I also think there's a lot of benefits that can come out because people don't have the time to be traveling, right? And so there's so much incentive to do more things when it's local and it's on your doorstep, right? Um, Going to the gym, doing sports. If you've got it locally and it's quick and easy to get to, it makes it so much easier for people to do it. And hopefully encouraging those people and that incentive to do it makes people just live a healthier lifestyle, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, obviously what I said was just one part of the story. There's pros and cons to everything, as you know. And I guess
Yeah.
a clear pro of it is, like you said, there are more services in the community which you're more likely to use, sorry. So if, I don't know, for example, the gym was 5 minutes from your house compared to, I don't know, a 20-minute drive, you're more likely to use it, right?
And I
It's
think
as
that
simple as
it's
that.
and the economy is going to change around that, right? Because you're going to need less cars, more public transport, and there'll be a lot more sort of local business opportunities, right? But well, if you're looking in entertainment, if you're looking at grocery shopping, it brings a new cost of business opportunities and sort of opportunities for small business as well, which is great, which is always a good thing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm sure lots of people would like to start their own, lifestyle business, and this sort of enables them to do it, right? If you could have your own, small shop compared to, if there's like a huge, supermarket that's, I don't know, 10 minutes away, people are more likely to, go to that big supermarket. But if you have loads of these little small shops, it allows people to, have something that they can call their own. And that could be
Yeah.
a huge incentive for people, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's more personalized. You develop that personal rapport and relationship, and it's not seen as sort of something very distant. And it's always great to have the small businesses are the backbone of any economy, right? And it's always great to be able to have them and support them. And I think this just gives them more of an opportunity there. We just need to see sort of government policy go towards that way and facilitate those opportunities, right? And I think there's a lot that the governments can do to support.
Absolutely, but I think this is more of a concept that will work in a developing country because I think developed countries have been thought out with a slightly different, thought process, and it'd be very difficult and expensive for them to, completely destroy what they already have just to,
Yeah,
replicate this current business model. And like we established, when everything can be delivered at your doorstep, it might not be truly worth it, right?
yeah,
But
no,
I
no, exactly.
think, but I think in developing economy, this is something that they could certainly look at implementing.
Yeah, it's a big ask, and there's twin forces at play. There's definitely twin forces at play, and it has to you have to get that balance. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think that was great little conversation, right? And it was good to be able to discuss those topics. There's a lot we can talk about. Maybe we can come back to it over the next few episodes. Maybe there's someone out there who can give us a bit more of their insight into this. Maybe there's people out there. So please get in touch if you have any questions or if you want to raise any points with us. But again, hope you all enjoyed it. We've been trialing out this concept of having the longer interviews with our great guests, but also having these smaller episodes dotted around to spark off some new insight, new thoughts, and some new conversations. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. And we will. I think this is the last episode we're recording before the new year. Actually, no, I think we've got one more, haven't we, Sharia?
Yeah,
We've got
absolutely,
one more
absolutely.
on New Year's Eve. Yes, one more on New Year's Eve. Again, I hope you all having a very good rest. And we're so happy that you continue to listen to us, to watch us, and please, yeah, get in touch with either me or Sharia or online on the Pioneers Pathway podcast. We love it.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening.